welcome to another edition of Diaspora Network, the show that celebrates Nigerians who are excelling in the diaspora in different parts of the world. On the show today, we beam our spotlight on the trailblazers in the aviation industry who fly some of the world's biggest aircrafts. We cross to North America, where we find a pool of aviation personnel that discuss the future of Nigeria's aviation industry, and meet Remi Bamisile. He's an inspiration to a new generation of pilots around the world. Fasten your seatbelt as we take off for this episode, but first, here's a look at the news of the week.
Florida teen Ashley Adirika has plenty to smile about this summer as the 17-year-old Miami Beach senior graduate received acceptance letters from all 8 Ivy League colleges across America: Brown, Columbia, Cornell, Dartmouth, Harvard, Penn, Princeton and Yale all accepted her exceptional application form, and she now joins an exclusive group of teenagers who garner the acceptance of all 8. Since 2018, each Ivy League school has accepted less than 12% of its applicants. This year, Columbia selected just 3.7%, Yale just 4.5%, and Harvard accepted just 3.2% of applicants, the lowest number in the university's history. Ashley also got acceptance to 7 other top-rated schools, including Stanford, Vanderbilt and Emory. She updated her newfound following on social media by announcing that Harvard is her chosen institution to further her education, and she plans to major in government. Her goal is to learn how policies can help fix economic disparities in communities. Ashley's mother emigrated to America from Nigeria 30 years ago, and she is a lone parent to 5 children. In more academic news, the former journalist, author and literary critic Dr. Nduka Otiono has been appointed the next director of Carleton University's Institute of African Studies. The appointment, which is for a 3-year term, will take effect from the 1st of July. Dr. Otiono was first appointed assistant professor at the university, which is in Ottawa, Canada, in 2014. Becoming the first appointee of what was then the university's newfound Institute of African Studies. Reacting to the appointment, Dr. Otiono, who is the former General Secretary of the Association of Nigerian Authors, said, "I humbly embrace this appointment and call to service as the new director of our beloved Institute of African Studies, Canada's foremost institute." He also expressed appreciation to the hiring committee, the university management, as well as his colleagues, students and family for their inspiration and support. The new movie Aisha, which stars Black Panther's Letitia Wright, has wowed critics at the Tribeca Film Festival. The move-in film tells the story of a young Nigerian woman seeking asylum in Ireland's inhumane direct provision system after fleeing violence back home. As Aisha's situation becomes increasingly dire, she struggles to maintain hope and dignity against the looming threat of deportation, a story not too far removed from the realities facing many Nigerians forging a new life abroad. Aisha is far more than an important film bolstered by real-world injustice. Critics say the film's writer-director Frank Berry gives the audience a life-shattering experience that makes the greatest global issue of the moment feel achingly personal. The theatrical release date is yet to be announced. Anthony Joshua and Alexander Usyk finally went head-to-head this week after almost a year of negotiations for their world title rematch. The rivals will clash in Jeddah on the 20th of August, in a rematch being dubbed the Rage on the Red Sea, and they began promotional duties in the Saudi Arabian coastal city on Tuesday afternoon. The rematch was scheduled to take place earlier this year, but Usyk returned to Ukraine to help with the war effort against Russia until he was given special dispensation to prepare for a second fight against Joshua. It will be Joshua's second fight in Saudi Arabia after he avenged his defeat to Ruiz with a comfortable points win in Riyadh in 2019. At the media conference, Joshua was full of confidence as he aims to become a 3-time world champion. The boxer is reportedly set to earn an eye-watering £100 million for the bout. Juliana Oliyinka with the Diaspora Network News Wrap in London.
So, we caught up with the activities of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission as they execute programs to engage citizens abroad. Let's take a look.
Chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Arewa, on a medical facility tour with the Nigerian American Public Affairs Committee, NAPAC, and the Mabo Foundation at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital. As part of its humanitarian gesture, both foundations are collaborating with the oncology unit at Luth to support treatment of indigent patients who are unable to afford cancer care. The team inspects the dialysis department, the pediatric department, and the hospital delivery room facilities. Mrs. Dabiri-Arewa commends NAPAC and Mabo Foundation for the initiative and advocates more of such collaborations from Nigerians in the diaspora.
We can't be the best everywhere in the world and not feel the impact back home. So this is a collaboration. And particularly in the health sector, we really believe that our doctors abroad should be able to work with those of you at home.
Both organizations appreciate the NIDCOM boss for her active service and dedication to replicate the level of development in the diaspora back home in Nigeria.
Our Honorable Dr. Abike Dabiri-Arewa. She's amazing. She encourages us to come back home and give back. She works actively to make sure that whatever we do there that is putting us on the radar is brought home.
Are you a Nigerian in diaspora? Do you have a need to contact Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM? Kindly dial any of the numbers on your screen. You can also catch up with all the Commission's activities, including news, articles, and office events on the website nidcom.gov.ng.
Now here on the show, we're constantly amplifying diaspora engagement for development. From young diasporans who are making efforts to launch new airlines to those who have schools where they teach people how to fly. Here's a look at what we found about investment versus opportunities and, of course, some of the challenges in the industry.
In most countries of the world, the aviation industry is not only a money spinner, but it plays a significant role in facilitating economic growth and development. That's because it has the potential to generate employment opportunities and promote international trade and tourism. Nigeria, being Africa's most populous country with a population estimated at over 200 million, is a logical destination for aviation investment, and a consistent rise in the demand for air transport is a plus for the sector in terms of growth. At the recent National Aviation Conference organized by the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, National Aviation in Abuja, key industry players discussed ways to deliver safe, secure, and profitable air transport system in Nigeria. At the event, the Minister of Aviation spoke of the government's readiness to explore a public-private initiative that will enhance operations in all the airports across the country.
The roadmap being implemented by this government is such that every single airport will be owned and run by the private sector for more efficiency and, of course, value for money.
Apart from local efforts to grow the sector, quite a number of Nigerians of different generations in diaspora are taking center stage in the industry globally. Adeola Gumola is one of the many women who are making waves and have recorded many firsts in this male-dominated industry. She is celebrated as the first female Nigerian to fly the Boeing 787 Dreamliner. Another household name is Adebanke Olayiwola. She started her career as an aviation health trainer and after several trips around the world, pursued her passion to become a pilot. Nigeria-born Captain Solomon Adio has over 40 years' experience in the industry. His passion and dedication to expanding aviation training services, both home and abroad, has birthed several training institutes, one of which is the International College of Aeronautics in Lagos, Nigeria. These young men and women who are passionate about flying are taught the nuts and bolts of the profession in Nigeria before they take to the skies.
The microbursts, they are intense localized downdrafts, and they spread out in all directions when they get to the surface. So it's just like when you open a tap, you notice the water comes out of the tap, just something like this. And when it gets to the surface, it goes out in all directions. So that's what a microburst is.
On the other side of North America is Captain Adebola Shobonyo. He started his career as an air traffic controller at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, and over 2 decades later, he is now a multi-licensed international pilot. Apart from being of Nigerian origin with foreign training, one thing these professionals have in common is their passion to see the aviation industry in Nigeria flourish.
I am flying for a major airline here in the United States, but my career started in Nigeria. There are great people out there who helped me with what I needed to do to get to where I got to, and I'd like to thank them. We are where we are, and our whole purpose, I believe, is to help Nigeria get it better.
But like every other industry, the aviation sector also has its challenges. The good news is there are possible solutions.
I don't see why we can have anybody who's not a Nigerian or a Nigerian resident come into Nigeria whilst they're professionals who are Nigerians who don't have jobs. That is unconscionable. If you're licensed, you've got the prerequisite requirements, you should be able to have a job.
And there are so many job opportunities available out there that we are not even tapping into. This kind of airplane can be used for border patrol. The police can use them. People can use them for agricultural use. Your media, even your company can use one of them too for your broadcasting. And people can use them for emergency purposes. So all these uses are available, which will make our airports viable.
Both experts believe there are opportunities in the industry, but it will take better investment in training, maintenance, and a systematic transformation to spring forth.
There's a difference between a program and a system. When you institute a program, which is what the politicians do, because they know they're only going to be there for 4 years. So they have a short-term plan. So when they institute a program, as soon as they leave office, the program will fail because a new administration have to start all over again. But when you institute a system, it will not matter who is in charge.
And mentoring the younger generation is one of the many ways they are contributing to the growth of the sector.
The country indeed has many greats with solutions that can solve some of its challenges. We zeroed in on a promising young Nigerian who represents a new generation of great pilots. He's an experienced pilot with a demonstrated history of working with airlines and the aviation industry in the United States. Born in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, southwest Nigeria, Remi Bamisile attended Holy Child Catholic Secondary School, Ado-Ekiti, before relocating to the United States. Today, he's a skilled ground instructor and has chalked up years of experience in flight training, aerospace, and commercial aviation. He holds a bachelor's degree in aviation science from the Vaughan College of Aeronautics and Technology in New York and graduated in 2010 with the highest honors, making the President's List. He also graduated from State University of New York, Jamestown, on the Dean's List in 2008 with a degree in professional piloting. While at college, he was quite the sportsman and was recognized as a citizen worthy of esteem of the community and the city of New York for his contributions to Port Richmond High School football. In 2008, he received the Scholastic Leadership Award from the United States Navy for exhibiting outstanding leadership and good judgment. He trained with Republic Airways Indianapolis, Academy of Aviation, Farmingdale, and Vaughan College, Flushing, New York. Remi represents the new generation of aviators who fuse their love for the profession with new technology to give aspiring pilots a bird's-eye view into the world of possibilities. Coming up on Diaspora Network, our chat with airline pilot Remi Bamisile. He has quite a story. Now, we sat down with this world traveler who has a unique travelogue. We find him on a picture-perfect sunny day in Orlando, Florida, gazing at the clear blue skies in anticipation of his next flight across the white clouds. Remi has always been enamored by aircraft and the technology that suspends flying objects in the air.
I grew up in Ekiti State, and growing up in Ekiti back then, I remember we didn't have airports. So the idea of me going to an airport to see a plane up close was not something that was feasible at all. For me to see an aircraft as a child, it was just running around in a yard, playing with my friends, and we see airplanes cruising at high altitude. And I remember I was just running around going, aeroplane, aeroplane, and it was the cutest thing. But, you know, I knew I had the passion for planes, but obviously it's not something that I thought, oh, I'm gonna be a pilot now. But by the age of 14, the path started to shape itself. I had two toys. One was a motorized remote control car, and the other one was a helicopter that was hollow, meaning it had nothing in it. My motorized remote control car broke down. It wasn't working no more. I was really torn about it. So I opened it up, tried to fix it. I really couldn't. So I had the idea, you know what? How about I try to create a new toy for myself? And I took apart both toys. I started taking out parts out of the car. And eventually I got a rotor, I got some gears and all the parts in the house. Before you knew it, I put it all together. The helicopter was now remote controlled. Put 2 Duracell batteries in there and that was it. I called my dad, told him, hey Dad, look at what I did. And he was like, you did that? And I was like, yeah, I did. He was very impressed, of course.
He lights up as he tells us what he loves the most about his profession.
Freedom and adventure. And I kind of touched on adventure a little bit, but I'm gonna paint a better picture for you. You see, the freedom to soar like a bird is one that is hard to describe. The views, the scenery, but I'll do my best to paint a picture. Picture a typical day, waking up, getting dressed in full uniform, heading to JFK, and departing out of JFK, cruising around 40,000 feet over the Atlantic, and being able to watch the sun set passes you by, right? Keep that in mind. And within the next 5 hours, be able to watch the sun rise at the same time as you're coasting to Europe or Africa. I mean, just think about that.
Oh yeah.
It's something that is just beautiful.
But not everyone shared his optimism and big dreams. Remi tells us how he pressed forward in spite of harsh words from skeptics.
I remember a particular story when I was young, actually. My father brought a friend of his who was a Nigerian Airways retired pilot to the house to talk to me when I decided I wanted to be a pilot. And this man came. I don't remember much about the things he said, but I do remember it was very negative about a few things. Yeah, in America, you know, being a black person, it's just gonna be very hard making it as a pilot. And so here I am thinking, here's this decorated Nigerian captain who came to America who can't even get a job. And here I am, this little wee lad.
Looking up to him.
Looking up to him. And the rightful thing would have been like, well, there goes that career. But no, you know, I had faith in myself. I believed in myself. While that might have been his own experience, my own experience and my faith will be a different ballgame.
He talks about humble beginnings and denying himself privileges to achieve his dreams.
A typical day for me was to wake up in the morning, do my chores, drink water after getting ready for school, and start walking to school. I walked several miles before I got to school. Now, I walked, if you notice, and I didn't say anything about breakfast sometimes, not because there was no car in the house, and not because there was no breakfast in the house being served. Quite the opposite. You see, around that time, it took my mother time to wake up, get my siblings, my younger siblings, ready for school, prep the meal, and then drive everybody to their schools. We were going to 2 different schools. And so for me, by the time she was done and ready, I knew I was going to be late. I was a prefect. I was a timekeeper, which is the guy that rings the bell for the assemblies and stuff. So it would be a very bad deal if the timekeeper is late.
Right.
To the event. I mean, it was going to ring the bell for the assembly gatherings and stuff. So I had to learn at a very early age how to sacrifice my own comfort to get the job done.
Today, the comfort of others is still top on his mind as Remi flies some of the biggest aircrafts, walking sophisticated jet bridges and handling some of the world's most impressive jet engines. And now he has a heart for mentorship, having made mistakes and learning the hard way.
I've had the privilege of instructing a lot of present Nigerian pilots. As a matter of fact, I did a lot of training for some ARIC pilots today who are captains, and I've helped them achieve their ATP, that's the airline transport pilot license. That's the license needed to be an airline captain. And while I'm not necessarily very active in an instructing world presently, I do take the time to motivate and mentor young folks. As a matter of fact, I'm very active on Instagram, and quite a few Nigerians have reached out to me on Instagram, and I encourage others to do the same.
And here's an interesting story he shares about a young prophet not being honored in his own home.
After I got my private pilot license, I did a flight from school to go visit my family in New York, and I remember trying to get my family members to go flying with me in my little 4-seater airplane that I brought home. And I had a conversation with my dad, and I said, "Hey, Pops, I'd like for you to come and fly with me." And he looked at me and said, because he picked me up at the airport, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm not gonna fly with you in that then."
Right.
But I promise someday I know I am gonna fly with you. I was disappointed, but instead of being upset, I said to myself, you know what? I understand what this man is telling me. The job is not done. At that point, I was working on my commercial pilot certification, and I went back to school, finished up my commercial certification, and eventually I had the opportunity, after getting a job flying a 70-seater Embraer jet, to fly my father from New York City to Washington, D.C.
Remi now has full stripes, flying a major US carrier, and is regarded as very accomplished. But he never fails to fly the Nigerian flag wherever he goes.
In that particular picture, that flag, holding it, was to symbolize hope. Hope for myself and for a lot of people that might come across that picture. And the reason is, you see, being a Nigerian, and there's a lot of narrative that you hear, both abroad and back in Nigeria, about what it means to be a Nigerian, or what a Nigerian citizenship might reflect. Some are good and some are not so positive. There are a lot of stereotypical beliefs when you hear someone is a Nigerian. So for me, that particular moment was to showcase that flag representing Nigeria represents that good things can and does come out of Nigeria.
He smiles as he reflects on the potential of the aviation industry in Nigeria.
Tourism is a very powerful thing. As a matter of fact, it's a multi-million, billion-dollar industry in a lot of countries. And I think if Nigeria could consciously start improving its tourism, the aviation sector is going to benefit from it greatly, because, we have a lot of people here. It's going to give the country a chance to boost its GDP in a different way, to a whole new source of revenue, and creating jobs, and also bringing people into the country to showcase the Nigerian culture and pride and sceneries. So I think if the country make a subconscious effort to promote tourism, the aviation industry can definitely benefit from that greatly.
And here's his advice to the next generation of aviation greats, home and abroad.
Hard work, tenacity, faith, and hope. Hard work is needed in just about anything you do. You work hard early, that way you can work smart later. If you work hard, that's gonna be the driving force that propels you as you go in your career of choice.
What a tale of service and patriotism. Now, there are many more stories like these across the continents of the world, and it's our job to amplify the significant contributions of these international citizens to national development. That's the show today. You can catch other episodes on our website, channelstv.com. I'm Ijeoma Onyato. Let's do this again some other time.